All right, let's talk about error handling. Let me push this up and we'll talk about error handling, which we desperately need, as you saw. So if we go over to the site, we can talk about errors. So how do errors work in Express or even Node? Anyone knows what happens if you throw an error in Node? Ever tried to do that before? Like, check this out. So if I go, I'm just gonna make a little JavaScript file right quick. I'm just gonna call it error.js. I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna throw an error. If I run this file, what do you think is gonna happen?
Pop up.
Yeah, it's just gonna break. I mean, even the linter knows what's gonna happen. It literally dimmed out this code. It's like, this code's never gonna run. What are you doing? This is gonna just break everything, right? So if I go to the terminal and I type in node and I run that file, it literally just breaks immediately. Okay, your server, because it runs in Node, is no different. It too will do that. It will just break whenever there's an error. But Express knew that, so they kind of saved us a little bit. What Express does is that any error that is thrown inside of a handler or a middleware, basically inside the framework, if it's a synchronous error, we'll talk about asynchronous errors in a minute. If it's a synchronous error, Express will catch that error for you to prevent your server from crashing. And that's why on some errors we'll get back that HTML page that's Express sending that back because it caught the error for us. And I was like, oh, you didn't do a try catch. Don't worry, I got you. I did it for you, and it sent back that HTML document. And we could test that. So if I go to, let me delete this file. We don't need this file. I'm just gonna make I don't know, a quick little route right quick. I'm just gonna go to server. Actually, let's do it right here on the get to slash. I'm just gonna throw an error. So I'm just gonna say throw new error. Hello. So I'm gonna throw that error. Start my server, and I'm gonna make a request to that. Right? So you can see right here, I get this HTML back. This is Express. Express is like, if I were to put this on the screen, it would show the stack tracing everything on the screen in the browser, right? This is just raw HTML, right? I can actually go to the browser and show you. Right, so you get this back. This is what Express is getting back. But our server is still on. It didn't crash. It's still running. Express caught the error. It was like, oh, it's a 500 error because you didn't catch it. That means your server's messed up. So that's a 500. And then don't worry, I'll tell you what it was. That's cool, but you probably don't want to be showing this to your users, okay? And second of all, it might not have been a server error. It could have been a user error and you just didn't catch it. It could have been anything. It might not have been your fault, but you didn't handle it. So Express handled it. We probably want to override this, and we will, and we can. And the way that you do that is with your own error handler. So basically, you can create an error handler in Express the same way you create a middleware or a database handler or a route handler. The only difference is that it has basically like 4 arguments, whereas the first argument is the error that was thrown, and everything else is what you already know. That's it. Other than that, it can do the same thing any other handler can do, the same thing any other middleware can do. The only difference is where you put it, because an error handler can't catch an error until the error was thrown. So that means the error handler has to come after all the routes. If you made an error handler before a route, like you told app.use, hey, here's my error handler, and then after that you made all your routes, that handler would never catch the errors because it was registered before your routes were. So Express will never bubble your errors up to that error handler. So basically you need to make sure you register your error handlers at the bottom of all your routes so that they can be caught by your error handler. And that looks like this. So if I were to go into the code and I were to make an error handler for the thing that we just did, so you can see I have this error being thrown, I'm gonna go down here underneath everything and I'm gonna say app.use this error handler, request, response, next. And I can log this error. I can say, oh, log this error, and I'm just gonna say res.json, not John. I don't know who John is, or that John. Message. Oops, there was an error. I could do that. I'm gonna log it so I can see it, but then I'm gonna send this back to the user, something a little different. So now if I say run that, and then go back here and refresh, look, I get that custom message. And in the terminal, I still logged it. So my error handle took over from what Express already had. And you could do whatever you want in here. You could do asynchronous things in here too. So this is a perfect place to, add instrumentation, error logging, error reporting, all that stuff. It's perfect.